The Battlefield franchise is back, launching its pre-release beta from October 6th through 10th. The series heads to the future with Battlefield 2042, allowing players to use advanced weapons of war during massive battles across sprawling maps. The game consists solely of multiplayer modes, with the beta showcasing just one map, Orbital, on just one mode, Conquest. The post got 3 hours with the beta, and the overall impression it left was a good one. It felt like Battlefield 3 and 4, with a massive scale, an arena that accommodated all kinds of playstyles, and in-game events and weather effects that quite literally blew us away. But for all we saw, there was plenty we didn't see. Here are our 5 biggest questions for Battlefield 2042 after playing the beta. Visually, Orbital is a stunning map. A rocket perched on a launching pad serves as its centerpiece. Battles can rage from the hilltop overlooking the launch site to tidal lowlands populated by cryogenic storage tanks. Those tanks can even explode and freeze players as they wander through the wreckage. Most breathtaking of all, a tornado sometimes spins down from the clouds, sweeping up players and debris and hurling them across the map. There is a lot going on, but even with 128 players, Orbital sometimes felt a little too open. Even with more control points, if your squad wasn't actively engaged in a firefight, there was a bit of time looking for a fight. What's more, Orbital is touted as a medium-sized map, so what happens in the large maps? New to 2042, players can call in vehicles beyond the standard allotment at team spawn points. This will help with fast transit and provide a little bit more firepower. Players in the beta preview may not have been proactively calling them in, but there were definitely times when the match felt a little quiet. Too quiet. Another new feature in 2042 is how players must choose a specialist. Each carries a special piece of equipment and skill set designed to complement a squad. Of the 4 specialists available to play in the beta, McKay was easily the favorite. McKay comes equipped with a grapple gun, and it makes you feel like Batman. You can use it to ascend buildings, traverse from rooftop to rooftop, or simply make a fast getaway, and it feels so good.
Let's get going!
Movement is much more deliberate in Battlefield compared to some other shooters like Call of Duty or Apex Legends, so the boost provided by the grapple gun is a huge perk. DICE has said there will ultimately be 10 specialists in the game, but in the beta, McKay was by far the favorite choice. Battlefield 2042 will infuse AI soldiers into matches. This will make sure the soldier count stays at a high level even when the player count doesn't. In the beta preview, the AI we encountered spanned the spectrum. The first round, it felt like the T-2000 was spawn camping me. Later, an accommodating squad of bots rolled up in a dune buggy, hopped out, formed a tidy line, and tried to knife me from 20 feet away. This figures to be less of a problem with more players on the servers during the public beta and after the game's release. Still, it's going to be a tricky balance to strike for developers to get an AI-heavy match to feel like a usual Battlefield match against humans. And it's infinitely less satisfying to hit a nice snipe or execute a finishing move, only to discover that the victim is, indeed, a bot. The game looks stunning, with rain swirling and foliage swaying in the wind, and DICE emphasized in the preview briefing that the team had added a lot of fixes and polish that would not be seen in the beta. Still, there were a good number of bugs. Unseen forces would spastically yank the pixels of dead bodies, helicopters would take a tank shell and emerge unscathed, and the rocket, which exploded at launch when I shot it with a tank, exploded, stopped, and then exploded again. Battlefield 2042 will be available across the current console generations. The difference is that PS4 and Xbox One players will be capped at 64-player matches. Still, the developers have promised the same in-game events and weather effects as everyone else. Can they pull it off? DICE is clearly going for massive spectacle, and from what we saw, for the most part it works in spectacular fashion. But we've also seen how ambition has undone some other highly anticipated titles, particularly on last-gen systems. Since Battlefield 2042 was first announced, the developers have teased Hazard Zone as a squad-based mode new to the franchise. Beyond that, not much. There have been drips and drabs from leakers, but nothing concrete. With no access to the mode in the beta, we're still almost totally in the dark, about a month ahead of the game's launch. Conquest and Breakthrough, the modes in All Out Warfare, are Battlefield classics. We know what to expect there, and Portal seems like it'll be a fun sandbox to play in. But considering Hazard Zone accounts for a third of the available modes in 2042, its success may define how this installment of Battlefield is remembered.
Now we're